On this week's episode of the Jesse T Show, the amazing, mighty, and powerful Mel and Jen from Banato. So Jen, Mel, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's exciting to have you both here. Yeah, this is great. This is great. You both flew in from Chicago, which is awesome. Had some business meetings here. Had some podcasts to attend to. So great to have you.
We're on the move.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Making banana-based sorbet and podcasting all day.
I love it. Yeah, listen, that's a rhyme. Like, you should put that in a slogan somewhere with the marketing guru over here. Yeah, the slanging sorbet all day. So wanted to connect with both of you. You're doing incredible things in the business world, and you're creating evangelists for your product and people that are really excited to see you do well. And there's a mission and a movement that you're creating, and I wanted to share that with the world. So with Banato and all things Jen and Mel, if you would share it with the world, tell us a little about the story.
Yeah, so I guess the main encompassing story of us is that we are changing the way you look at dessert. We are trying to encourage America to just eat more fruit instead of just normal dessert. So we have a banana-based sorbet company that makes a product that has no dairy, no added sugar, and all natural ingredients. So it's a dessert where all of the sweetness comes from fruit and nuts.
Awesome.
And so Banato has just been a journey for us, and we're just so excited to be here and share it.
That's awesome. So speaking about the journey, I want to know more about why and how with the product, right? The why is super important. Like, why, obviously I understand this like a lot because it's in my mission, but why the health and wellness space? Why the healthier dessert space? And how did you two connect, and where did that all start?
Yeah, so I guess we'll go back in time a little bit to the origins. Because once upon a time, I was drafted into a beauty pageant.
Okay.
There was just a local beauty pageant that didn't have enough contestants. And so suddenly I got thrown into that mix. And while I was dieting to prepare for that competition, I realized there was no dessert I could eat.
Yep. Very restrictive.
Absolutely. Yeah. I decided to cut out all refined sugar. And so literally when it came to dessert, there was fruits and then nothing else.
Yep.
And so at that time, I started thinking about just health and wellness as a whole, and just how America's grocery stores are plagued with sugar.
Yeah. Every food, it seems like, has added sugar.
Exactly.
Once you start paying attention to the labels.
Right. And even now, we're seeing a rise in type 2 diabetes, childhood obesity, and a huge proponent of that is all that sugar, all the high fructose corn syrup. We could go into the logistics of how ice cream is made and how conventional desserts are made, but the end story is that sugar is so prevalent in our world today. And so my solution was to create something that had no sugar. Yeah. And that's how Banato was created. And that's why Banato is a product that doesn't have any of those additives. Banato is a dessert. It's fruits and nuts blended together, but it's also delicious.
Yeah.
So
which is important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we want to prove that indulgence can be healthy.
Yep, I think it can be. And, from my experience with my own journey with health and wellness, we have a lot of similarities we'll talk about with like martial arts and sports and things like this. But it really starts with, kind of being healthy internally and being mindful of the things you're putting in your body and the things, how they're processed. And so I think the world's on this kick where people are becoming healthier. These tobacco ads for years talking trash about cigarettes, like people that are getting more enlightened in a sense.
Sugar is a drug,
right? And sugar is a drug, and people don't realize, if you take a look at that label and you really go into detail of the ingredients and the types of sugars, like there's all these tricky names for sugars. It's not just sugar anymore. Like, these companies have figured out how to lie to us and sell us death. It's essentially death. And so the journey that I'm on with my family is kicking out all processed sugar, all refined sugar, and going straight to fruits and natural sources of sugar and Banato. So when I can get some more Banato, I will.
No, and that's absolutely correct. And let me tell you a little bit how ice cream is made traditionally.
Yeah.
Because when we have ice cream is nice and smooth and creamy, but a big part of that is sugar.
For sure.
That's added.
Yep.
And so ice cream companies have realized that if they use high fructose corn syrup instead of conventional sugar, they could add twice as much in there without having it have the same taste. So American consumers are now eating more sugar than ever before because these large distributors, they realize that you don't taste it. And so for our product, we are very revolutionary in that space, since Banato doesn't rely on that. And because we don't rely on sugars, that means we have to rely on science to make sure that our product has that same creamy consistency, deliciousness as ice cream without leaning on those components.
Yep.
That's why actually, for me, when I was creating the recipe even, I read dissertations about ice cream and ice crystal formation and how to reduce.
You went deep, like you went into the whole the labyrinth, so to speak, of
Absolutely. Because
a lot of testing involved, a lot of research, and then putting that into practice, how it's executed, and
yes.
What did some of those testings look like? So were there sometimes you're just like in the lab, the kitchen, so to speak, and just like Walter White from Breaking Bad, just like trying stuff and
so because I am a perfectionist, and so I want this to be just the most beautiful tasting dessert people would eat. Yep. And so let's take cocoa powder as an example. Mm-hmm. Cocoa powders they all have slightly different flavors. So I went out and I bought 10 types of cocoa powder. I made 10 iterations of Banato that were the exact same, wow. Just changing the cocoa powder.
The one thing.
Yes.
It's a very scientific process.
Exactly. Yeah. Then I took these Banato versions, I labeled them in cups, numbered 1 through 10, and I would bring these Banato cups to parties and make my friends...
Take your cups with you.
Exactly. I would bring this little tray, and my friends, they would try the different samples, and they would give me notes on what they liked about each sample.
Really? Okay.
Until eventually...
Target market research.
Yes, yeah. I narrowed it down to a singular best cocoa powder, and now when people taste the chocolate of Banato, they say, wow,
so rich.
This is amazing. This is just like a fudgesicle, but better.
But better and better for you.
Yeah, you can't even imagine my first impression whenever I had tried it, because it was a little bit farther along, pretty developed at that point. Sure. It fooled me. I had no idea that it wasn't ice cream or that any of those ingredients could taste like that together. So that's what we're really trying to show the world.
You've accomplished what you were looking for, something that's healthy, something that tastes good, something that makes you feel good because you know that you're eating something healthy for you and it's not necessarily going to kill you because of the refined sugar, right? So it's like you can enjoy it and not just feel bad, because a lot of people when they eat ice cream they'll feel bad like 5 minutes after they're done.
Exactly.
They'll hate themselves like, I can't believe I just ate that whole carton of ice cream.
Instead, on the other side of things, I have a bunch in my freezer and I'll just keep going back for them.
It's really good.
Yeah, right. I don't even feel bad about it.
Exactly. And we've really created these kind of rudimentary nutrition labels even that compare Banato to conventional ice cream. Now, it's not scientifically validated because we've just taken our ingredients and kind of put them together.
Sure.
But even at this first run, we're able to see a stark difference.
Totally different.
What are some things you've noticed? What are some things you've seen?
So, for example, our cholesterol content is, I want to say half.
Really?
Than I guess it was a
Ben and Jerry's
ice cream.
Oh,
yeah,
Ben and Jerry's.
Being one of them. Yeah, the epitome of guilt.
Right.
After you eat.
And I get the worst one. It's like the one that's loaded with everything.
Like the chunky monkey.
Well, that one, but there's also everything but the, which is like all these pieces of like different candy bars and stuff. And then
but it's
can't hold a candle. So it's a Banato, I know.
Yeah. And we also have fiber.
Yep.
Because bananas are naturally very high in fiber.
Yep.
We actually have half the calories and half the sugar, of course, from conventional ice cream because we don't have corn syrup.
Right. What is the so I guess Banato has the name banana in it. Mm-hmm. Is that the base for everything, or how does that play into it? And like and if it's proprietary, no worries. But like how do you make your stuff and like what's in it and like all that stuff?
Let me tell you, it's super simple.
Yeah.
Fruits and nuts in a blender.
That's it.
People ask us that all the time, and it's not genius work, but it's perfected work.
Yep.
So when I make my product, we are bananas in a blender, but we are the best bananas in a blender you would ever try because every step of that process is perfected.
There's genius in simplicity. There really is. And it doesn't have to be like this off-the-wall crazy idea. It could just be something that's done well over and over again.
Exactly. Like, let me tell you, one of my greatest inspirations was a trip I took to Taiwan.
Okay.
I went to one of the night markets in Taiwan, and there was this one vendor there that was selling grilled corn.
Okay.
And I went and I tried this grilled corn, and it blew my mind.
It's like one of the best things you ever ate.
It was just so unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I was like, how long have you been doing this? And that woman had been grilling corn for 16 years.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Yes.
Someone just grilling corn for 16 years.
Exactly. But honestly, she was winning because you looked at that line for corn. All other corn vendors, a few people.
Yep.
She had a line that was going around the block.
I believe it.
And I looked at her and I just thought, someday if I make a food product, I want to be that guy.
Yep.
I want to make it the absolute best and make sure that every part of it just has that same genuinity that corn did.
Yep. So you have a little bit of a perfectionist in you, is what you're saying, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You're being humble.
So that's incredible in itself. And so some of the other ingredients you infuse them, like I think you mentioned cocoa powder. Is that where your chocolate comes in, and some of your different flavors and iterations? Like where are you at with your product offering today, and like how does that look?
Yeah, so we have 3 flavors that are available right now. We have chocolate.
3 perfected flavors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have chocolate
The
almond.
humble perfectionist,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Chocolate almond, I think, is really beautiful because it has like a chocolate fudgy flavor,
Okay.
but there are nut chunks in there, so you could actually taste the almond fully.
Yeah. And you get that mouthfeel too. Like it's not just smooth. The smooth is great,
Right.
but I'm a mouthfeel like texture kind of
Yes.
guy. If there's a crunch too, I mean that's off the charts.
And so
It's
it's
this beautiful little nut layer on the bottom that just really
Yeah.
sets the entire thing. Whenever you finish it and you have a nice little crunch at the end,
Yeah.
it completes.
It's like the perfect
your
last
taste.
bite.
Yes.
exactly. So chocolate almond stems from my love of chocolate covered almonds.
Yep.
But every time I get a bag, I finish the bag, and
Of
it's
course
a
you do.
problem.
Yeah. It's a big problem.
But with Banato, it's like you could finish an entire bar, and it's just very satisfying.
Yep.
That feeling. The second flavor I have is toasted coconut.
Yep.
And
Sounds amazing.
I created that one because I was actually trying to create vanilla. I was trying really hard just to make that flavor, but surprise, you can't make a banana taste like a vanilla ice cream.
Just can't do it. Just can't do it.
It's weird. And so I decided, instead of that, why don't I just create something that has a beautiful marriage, and that's not just banana flavor. And just the coconut is literally toasted, and so it has that infused kind of smoky flavor
Yep.
Yeah.
within like the flavor of Banato itself.
And what I love most about toasted coconut, I'm just such a huge fan, but is that it doesn't really have that banana taste.
Yeah.
You can't really
even
decipher
tell.
it. Yeah, it's just like a mystery in your mouth.
Yep.
The most amazing feedback we get from customers is people that don't like bananas,
Yep.
that try Banato, and they tell us, I don't like bananas, but this is delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible? Because people have this
Yes.
weird aversion to bananas for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Maybe
And then all of a
they-
sudden, like, I love bananas. And I think bananas are great and I eat them all the time. But I feel like some people who haven't given them a shot, or maybe there's like a texture issue, I'm not sure. But you've hacked a way to sometimes even hide it with the toasted, toasted almond. And then the other flavors, like you can really like marry it together where it's a beautiful union of flavors.
Right, and beyond that, it's just when you take a banana, if you ripen it to the perfect amount,
Yep.
all of a sudden it becomes sweetness
Yeah.
instead of just that banana
It actually does
flavor.
get sweeter.
Yes, and so I found a way where you could ripen it to the perfect amount where it doesn't lose its texture, and so you still have that
That's
smooth,
important.
creamy texture,
Yeah.
but then it's just sweet enough so it doesn't taste
Yeah.
that same way.
Yeah. You don't feel like you're going to diabetic shock.
Exactly, exactly. Die from a banana.
Right. You don't want to do that. That wouldn't be good marketing.
Exactly. The last flavor we have, I honestly made it because of popular demand, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
But it is strawberry banana.
Okay.
And my
They
goal...
go together well. Yeah.
Exactly. But my goal when I was making it was to make sure that it didn't taste like a smoothie
Yep.
in a bar.
Yep.
I just thought that would take away from the indulgence. I still want Banato to be something that you eat, and you're not like, well, that was healthy. I'm glad I did that.
Right.
I want you to be like, this is so delicious. I'm glad I ate it because it's healthy, but I love
I
it.
really love it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with strawberry banana, like it has this taste and texture that's very, very different.
Like cheesecake.
Really?
Yeah, melt
That would
scratches
appeal to
it.
a lot of people.
Yeah, it's just not just fruits and nuts in a bar. It's different.
Okay. And so we have kind of walked through the process, the product itself. I don't know if we've touched on much, but how was this, like, how did you two come together and create this partnership and, like, lead into this explosion of an opportunity?
Yeah, the two of us are just amazing because we are two halves,
Yep.
really. So for me, I'm the one that's in the kitchen. I'm making the product. Mel, she is
We're
the
on
design.
the visualization side. So
Yeah.
what it is that people see aka Nana.
Is that the nickname?
That is his nickname.
Nana?
For those of you who are listening to the podcast, this is a little banana popsicle figure, actually, who's our mascot.
It's gorgeous.
It's supposed to represent that each popsicle is infused with banana, right?
Yep.
And then you can kind of peel away his arms and, kind of experience the flavors.
I want to talk about, too, it looks like he has like a headband like the Karate Kid. and for all three of us, we're martial artists. And we have, for Mel, jiu-jitsu and is it striking as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then for Jen, you're doing taekwondo for many years competitively.
Yeah.
And I've done Muay Thai for many years. So this looks like a little ninja.
Yeah.
Like, it's super cute.
It was something we sampled away with for a little bit.
Yeah.
We had an iteration where it was a banana stem hat, but it didn't really give the right effect. And we went through several iterations of putting a bee on his headband, but for scaling purposes, that didn't really translate. Sure. But we decided to give him a bandana to represent, Jen kind of being in the kitchen and working with the recipes, but then, it's kind of evolved into really representing, our interest in martial arts and maybe catering to that as an audience.
For sure, because it's a healthy alternative.
It is. It's a really great way to replenish your energy after, an open mat or a sparring session.
Yeah. And like you mentioned earlier, when you were trying to cut weight for this like impromptu pageant, all you want to do is eat. Like, I mean, when you're cutting weight, like, and you can't. Right? Yeah. And you have to, if you're just like cutting water and you're doing all these salt things and whatever you can do to drop weight, at some point you want something that tastes good. This could be a good replacement. So it would absolutely crush in the training and athletic field, for sure.
Definitely.
Right. And actually right now we have a few partnerships going on. So we're actually going to a few title boxings in Chicago and setting up sampling stations there. We've gone to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms.
Yeah, Seraphin Jiu-Jitsu.
So that's awesome.
That's where I train.
That's where you train?
Yes, and we've had a lot of really great feedback from them. A lot of people in the restaurant space, even just fellow foodies as well.
That's
they really have a lot of good advice to give us, kind of a little bit more seasoned in their practice. So
it's good to get that help from people, and people start buying into what you're doing, what you're creating, the movement that you're creating.
Exactly, and I think that's what makes Banato special. For Banato, we're not just a food company. I'm not making this and putting this out there in the world and saying, eat it.
Yep.
We believe that food is an experience with the soul. I really think the stomach is the way to a person's heart.
Yeah.
And when we create Banato, we are creating a product that's an experience. So Mel, working on the branding, the packaging. For Mel, when you see the product, you taste with your eyes.
Yep.
For me, when I work on my product in the kitchen, you taste just love.
Yep. With your other senses, smells, taste, like it makes you feel good.
The perfected recipe.
That's right.
Exactly.
The grinding that it takes to get to that point, right? Because, I mean, your first time that you've tried this compared till now, you've probably done it tens of thousands of times over.
Yes, absolutely. And I think there's so many nuances that we're trying to make sure that we have down, like consumer safety. I'm hugely concerned about making sure that this is a product that remains as safe as possible. In the food industry, there's bound to be times when things don't go 100% right. Even Jenny's ice cream had a spell of foodborne illness. But I think the purpose of a brand is to make sure that we tell consumers, no matter what happens, we're trying.
Yep.
And no matter what happens, we will try to make this the safest product for you, especially for Banato, because Banato has so many kid consumers.
Yep. Dealing with now consumers and different ages of consumers, from people that are older to kids, and making sure that safety's there and making sure there's no foodborne illnesses. And I'm sure there's a whole world of like dealing with keeping the product, because it's a frozen product, keeping the product cold, keeping it fresh. Like, we'll talk about that and get into like the story of the business side, but talk a little bit about some of your experiences and learnings there when it came to delivering a great product that was safe for people.
It's been a journey.
Well, currently we're going to be revamping the packaging, which I think is a really important element. It's the first thing that somebody will hold in their hand and observe it before they actually feel it and open it and then enjoy it, that experience. So, we believe from the beginning it's it's the visual that they see, it's the experience they have in opening it. Currently, we're kind of using plastic packaging. We really want to have something that is more sustainable, that really will, we'll be able to kind of look towards the future and plan for environmentally friendly.
Yep.
So we're currently in the works of putting something like that together, but also making sure that it keeps the product inside protected as well.
Yep.
So there's
multiple reasons to have it.
So many layers to the packaging, but I guess that's something that we've been.
What have you found in that exploration in terms of finding the right packaging? Because it seems like it's an ongoing journey. So what have you dealt with and learned? And,
So we're kind of at the beginning stages of it at the moment. So since we're still kind of a younger company, we've been using what is most economical at the moment.
Sure. Yeah.
But now we're kind of taking it back a little bit and asking how can we improve this package a little bit. Right now I'm in the research phase, so packaging is a little bit different than just your logo design or business card design, because you need to make sure that your final deliverable is actually feasible. So in this case it's the package itself. So at this time I'm reaching out to vendors to get samples. What are some materials that I can work with here?
Okay.
What are some shapes that will fit well for both our pops, which are kind of a cake pop size sphere with a stick, kind of a sucker stick stuck in.
Yep.
And then the other side of things is the bar, the larger product, which you might be more familiar with, like a fudgesicle, something like that size with a wooden stick. So even exploring, should we continue with a wooden stick? Is there something else out there that could be better suited for us? So a lot of it is research, because I don't want to get so far down the line sketching out and designing the graphics on the cover of it and the back, and then come to find out we actually don't have the materials to suit that need.
You would have wasted a lot of time and money at that point.
Yes.
Right.
Frustration.
In terms of the journey, it has been a journey. I mean, we were talking earlier that Banato has very humble beginnings. I think for the two of us, we don't come from money. We don't come from a very advantaged family, and so we are starting on the ground. I think that is so beautiful for us to be in markets and be in festivals, because we are out there as founders of our company interacting with the consumer on a regular basis. And that brings me to our launch day, which was...
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so...
when was it?
So it was in July.
Okay. This year?
2019.
2019.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I developed the recipe for a year before we launched the product out there. And I think that whenever you create a company, you're just in this state of extreme vulnerability.
For sure.
Because you're not just selling them a product, you're selling them a piece of yourself.
Yep.
And so we went through great lengths just to make sure everything was perfected, we had our product done, and we planned a perfect launch day. We had a countdown to the launch, and on that day, the freezer in my shared kitchen was too full of foods, because the shared kitchen that we use has tons of entrepreneurs, and the freezer was so full that products were falling off the shelves around it, and our popsicles melted actually.
No way, all of them
in the freezer. So we did some repackaging. Still, whenever you have a frozen product, when it melts, the ice crystal formation is just completely wrong.
It changes the whole structural integrity, essentially.
Exactly. So step one, product bad. The second thing is, when we got to the festival, we were setting up. The guy who was supposed to bring the table just didn't come.
So you didn't have a table to do your display or placement or attract people?
So basically, Mel had to run out. She had to grab a table. We ended up in a weird shared plant / banana sorbet situation on the same table.
So plants, foliage?
Yes. So we would confuse consumers. They would come over, they'd be like, what's going on here? Why are you selling plants on one side and banana ice cream on the other? It was off. And to top things off,
so funny.
All of a sudden, we're sitting there, we're confusing the hell out of customers. We've got a product that's kind of mediocre in my mind. a thunderstorm hits.
Oh no! So just the law of nature just took over.
We were in a metal tent.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Right near
Not
the gutter.
safe at all.
So
The water was flowing through
Right.
our tent. We ended up having to take all of our stuff and kind of stockpile it into the middle of the tent. And we were huddled sitting on top of our Yeti cooler because the storm was so strong that we were physically holding down this tent.
Yeah, because it would blow away.
Yeah.
leaking through the top. We were patting it from the inside so that the rain would just trickle over the.
Oh my goodness! So it wouldn't like cave in.
Yeah.
Yes, it was, and it was a nightmare of a launch. I think that for a lot of entrepreneurs, they would see that and they would say, "No, we've failed."
Quit potentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at that point, we just kind of said, "Wow, like our worst fears have already been realized. There's not much lower it can go." So
You're at ground zero essentially, so you can only go up.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You can. I think from that point, we just became fearless.
Yep.
And so that's at
It was
that
serendipity in a sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
So eventually we decided to say screw sales because
Yeah.
it's thunderstorming. No one's going to get sales. We completely changed our site and we just said free samples for feedback.
Wow.
And so we had customers come over and we would literally take spoons and we would scoop out our Banato pops and we would hand it to them and we would say, just tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Because your feedback right now means more than money to us.
Wow. Wow. You pivoted on the spot.
Exactly.
Which and I've had these conversations recently with friends and some other entrepreneur buddies of mine and people that I know that it's all about pivoting. It's all about adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
And in business, there's no straight line and there's no overnight success. Most overnight successes take 20 years. Like it takes a while to get there. And for you to be able to be on the spot in the middle of torrential downpour, in the middle of like failing of operations, like the buildings are burning, so to sense. You just pivoted and said, you know what? Let's make the most of it. Let's make the best of it. And then you also gained a huge learning experience of we can do anything. If we can do this and we can be positive, which as an entrepreneur, optimism is the game. Yes, there's going to be negative times. You're going to be up and down on the roller coaster of emotions, but you did all of this in one event and completely like set the groundwork for where you are now.
Yes, and I think that really in business, the most important thing you can have is hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you are in a situation where you're failing and you're so down and low and the world is storming on you, just do something that gives you that hope.
Yeah, and that gives other people hope too.
Yeah.
Exactly. And for us, those samples, so when we stopped focusing on sales and started focusing on our customers started telling us amazing things. They started telling us, you're on to something. Please keep going.
Yep.
We had customers that would walk over and just tell us that they thought that what we were doing was so cool and beautiful. And where can we buy this?
Or that they even thought we had a store.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, where can I go?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And like, actually, I think the product launch, it taught me that we have a really awesome idea. And the next festival we went to sold out.
No way.
We sold out 2 hours early.
So let me ask you this. So from July 2019, cataclysmic first event, learning so much. When was the actual, like, time-wise, how much further out from that first event? Like, how many weeks or months was it before the next one? Days?
Oh, we did a complete reset.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we literally did the first event, and I just said, no, I will not stand for selling an inferior product. My roommates are mad at me because after that event, I was so mad that the product just did not taste right that I threw all of it away.
Did you really start from scratch?
And I was like, we're starting over. I bought an industrial freezer, and I bought new equipment. We bought an ice cream cart because we decided screw the table situation.
That's really clever.
Yes.
Take it with you.
With an umbrella.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that's become our main attractor.
That's like your thing. Like, they know you're there.
There's a yellow umbrella. That's Banato.
Wow.
Exactly. We completely revamped everything. We went there from being in regular t-shirts and shorts to just selling ice cream from a table to having an ice cream cart. We have orange aprons. We have our signage. We have a beautiful logo that we put on our cart. We have the story of Banato sitting right next to the
Creating
cart.
an experience and your followers and fans.
Exactly. We even have a little table where children can come and color
That's super
little
smart.
nanas.
Tell us their favorite flavor that they want.
There you go. Target market research.
Yeah.
Super smart.
And so all of a sudden, things have changed so much for us. We have customers that come to us, even to this day, that say, we saw you at X and Y Festival. And they come up to just talk to us because we have a community. We're not just a food company.
Yep. So you go to the second festival, and what month was that in 2019?
It was August.
Okay, so you had a little bit of lag to kind of reset, rebrand, recalibrate, refocus. Second festival, by all standards, a much better success with the preparation and with the result. And then you've built this community. You call them, you're evangelizing your community.
Yeah, we actually call them like Team Banato. It's kind of funny. People, even random people, they use like hashtag Team Banato.
That's awesome.
Because really, Team Banato started off as just our core members, but hey, it's expanded to a lot of people now that our brand has just touched.
Even local artists, they want to be a part of it. We had a photo series including them with our product and getting them exposure, and just kind of a dual. Everybody's helping everybody here. It's a local product. We're all here to just, share with the world everybody's talents and experience.
Embrace a community.
Yeah.
Just make it all one, and everybody goes on the journey together. And so now you're really getting into really cool events, and people are inviting you to things, and you're getting sought after, so to speak. And you had a couple things pop up with like NPR and some local branding, and talk about some of those things.
Yeah. So we've just been blessed. That's what I think on a regular basis, because even 3 months after forming, we were selected for the NPR How I Built This Fellowship.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about what that means and what that is. What it entails, everything.
Sure. So out of 1,000 applicants, Banato was one of 60 companies selected. And Guy Raz, who is the founder of How I Built This, he always mentions that it's a community of kindness.
Okay.
The reason why we're selected into this fellowship is because we are a company that is inherently kind, and we want to promote that to the world. And so that means we are connected with other entrepreneurs who are just beautiful human beings. And now the most important thing about this is Banato was a 3-month-old company accepted into this fellowship.
Incredible.
A lot of the other companies were further down the road. And so now they've become our business mamas. Business mamas, business papas. Like whenever I have a crazy idea that I'm thinking of, I bounce it off one of them, and they give us so much advice and feedback.
That's awesome.
We went to the How I Built This Summit, which was a 2-day conference.
Where was it?
It was in San Francisco.
Okay, nice.
And that experience completely changed our lives, because we were able to meet other fellow entrepreneurs, but then also really incredible entrepreneurs who have made it. I got to sit down with Jenny Britton Bauer, the founder of Jenny's Ice Cream, and talk to her about Banato and my strategy going forward, and just my vision and dreams. And it's when you have the ear of someone that's that great and that has accomplished so much, you gain more confidence for yourself, and that advice is invaluable. What
was some of the takeaways, kind of like a key golden, like to do or not to do, or something that you can leave for value with the listeners here that you got that helped you?
The most amazing thing was grow slow.
Yeah.
In the food space, especially in the frozen product space, there's a lot of companies that expand really quickly.
Yeah.
But then you lose control of that quality in there, and you lose control of the product soul, I think.
That can happen in any company.
It gets diluted.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
And I think when I was talking to Jenny, she talked about how everything that we saw now was 20 years of work for her.
Right. That's what we talked about a little while ago. I said overnight successes usually take 20 years.
Yeah. And it's funny because you see her now and you're like, wow, she has a cookbook, she has all these stores, she's fantastic. But in reality, Jenny Britton Bauer was in the markets selling her product as like a little ice cream stand essentially for 8 years.
Yep.
And so that experience of talking to a customer is so different. When I talked to David Neilman, who is the founder of JetBlue, he really talked to me about putting the mission first. He said that when he created JetBlue, it was all about the customer and helping people get to their loved ones and get to where they want to go.
Yep.
For Banato, our mission is to make healthy food more accessible to all people.
I love it.
And that is something that's brought together our team. I think that's something that our customers can see and really resonate with. I think, of course, we also met Tariq Farad, who is the founder of, Tariq Farad. He is the founder of Edible Arrangements.
Okay, yeah.
And like he gave us so much good advice on finding suppliers. Just all these people at the end of the day, have told us to never stray from our values and make sure that we are a company of integrity.
I love it.
While caring about the customer.
Because that's going to bleed into, there's a thought leader that I'm big into. His name's Simon Sinek, and he talks about start with why, and the why is the most important thing to a business, like the soul of a business, right? Or your, how you bleed into the world in your business. And so if you have a great product, that's your what, and like, you know, how it helps people, that's the how. But like if there is no passion or love or belief or staying true to your values and the why behind what you're doing, that stuff fades away. It all comes down to the culture and the feeling and the vibe and the love coming from the company out into the world.
Yeah, and that's something I really strongly believe. If you give the world love, it will give it back to you. And for Banato, we that's why we actually are very active in the not-for-profit space. There's some not-for-profits that reach out to us and ask if we want to participate in raffles. We say yes. We'll give you a box of dry ice with Banato. Go ahead, make money. We helped to raise money for Lincoln Park Zoo, actually.
Okay.
It's a free zoo that's located in Chicago, and we literally made about 2,000 samples and handed it out during the event.
That's no small task. That's 2,000 little pieces of like the company and its soul.
Yes, that was all made by me in the kitchen.
Oh my goodness. What was that process like? Are you having like little ramekins that you put this in? Like how do you do 2,000 pieces of like your company?
It was really, really hard. I created a giant sheets of sorbet, and I had like little square-sized toothpick maneuvers. So it was like mini popsicles for each person. But yeah, I think
and then keep them frozen.
Yes.
And keep them placed somewhere, because now you have 2,000 little pieces of something that have to go in somewhere else.
Oh, and that was an amazing event because I basically rented a car to bring those 2,000 samples to the event.
I believe it.
I rolled the van in, and we realized that the van was too small to fit the ice cream cart.
No way. How'd you pivot?
Honestly, we decided...
Balls to the side of the van like a sidecar, like a motorcycle.
Just haul it through the van.
Yeah.
No, for real. At that moment, we were just like, okay, our dream setup has failed. Time to just do what we can. And we end up just going back to table and cooler, but making the most of that situation there.
Yeah. There's a huge narrative that's going to lead to your continued success, and it's just adapting, evolving, being happy and loving in what you're doing, and just keep it moving. Yeah.
Exactly. I have a theory that starting a business is death by 1,000 cuts.
Okay.
Because anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Absolutely.
Murphy's Law is very strong,
Yep.
and all of a sudden it becomes mindset.
Yep.
When the cart didn't fit in our car, you have to just kind of say, screw it.
Yeah. What can we do?
Right. What matters here? Like in this situation, what matters isn't the cart. What matters is our presence at this event.
Yep.
We could have called the event planners and just said, no, we just can't do it because we didn't do it.
Yep.
But I think our presence is so much more valuable to customers than having a really beautiful, fancy setup.
For sure. The story of Banato to this present day and what you've accomplished and everything that you've seen and been through, and the bond that you've built and the sisterhood and the partnership and the friendship has led you to this point here today. And so where do you see it going in 2020 and beyond?
I think we will go where the journey will take us. So Jen, I know that really wants that to be an organic growth, and where we're needed and where people tell us that we are welcome and want us to be. They'll kind of search us out, and that's what we expect, what we hope to expect. Yeah.
Any little events coming up or some things you're excited about in the next few months?
Yeah, so 2020 is going to be a big year for us. I'm not going to lie. We're hoping to open up a stable pop-up shop.
Okay.
So our goal is just to be at a standard location, like maybe even Saturday and Sunday at X and Y place from X and Y time.
Yep.
So people can find us when they want to find us.
Build that consistency.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's one of our goals.
What does a pop-up shop like? In my mind, I'm thinking of a few different things. So like, what do you envision it being, and like, what's the actual formation? Is there like a little structure? Is it your cart that you've had with you? Like, what does this all look like?
Yeah,
Let the viewers and listeners kind of get a narrative. Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking that we'll just find a place where we could park our carts, have the big yellow umbrella up, have us standing there in orange aprons. And it's kind of like your friendly ice cream cart, just in
your neighborhood-friendly ice cream cart?
Neighborhood-friendly ice cream cart. Neighborhood-friendly Banato.
Awesome.
We got it.
I love it.
But yeah, in terms of location, we're just trying to see what's possible right now.
Yep.
If any of these viewers have suggestions, we're welcome to hear them. We're looking at maybe the beach, maybe by the river, maybe in the middle of downtown, maybe one of the neighborhoods. These are all very vague intentionally because why figure out a specific vision when you could just see what's possible?
Like you talked about, let it form, kind of just form through the growth and the process.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I think that this year has been very much of an exploration of, is this possible?
Yep.
Is this wanted?
Yep.
The answer has been a resounding yes.
So you've brought scale, you've brought market, like you've basically your idea has been validated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. Like customers have told us that we've changed their lives.
That's incredible. That's a big statement.
Yes, customers they sometimes stop by 2 or 3 times in the same festival just to try different flavors. We have people that buy Banato in bulk and try to run it home to their families from festivals. So
before it melts, yeah.
Yes, so at this point, proof of concept has been validated. Now it's time to scale.
Yep.
And so now is the time where in 2020 we are going to figure out how far we can go.
Yeah. Touch more people, help more people think healthier, live healthier, be healthier, but also while it tastes good.
Exactly. And beyond that, we also formed a partnership with a not-for-profit in Chicago. The not-for-profit is called Street Samaritans. Okay. They give away care packages to homeless people. And we want part of our team Banato, to go out and help give these people Banato because...
Give them a sweet treat. They deserve something.
Yes, and also I've realized that the homeless population doesn't have access to fruit.
Right.
So I volunteered at a soup kitchen, and we would give away food to homeless people. But in terms of dessert, there was no dessert offered, let alone just the nutrients, the vitamin C that you would get in fruits.
Yep.
And so I just think that it would be so important to bring the homeless community this treat that they can have and really increase their accessibility to healthy foods and Banato.
Another feel-good part of the business and story that you're leaving people better than you found them and helping them out.
Exactly.
So, as far as the next few months, any key partnerships that you're excited about or looking to connect with people, any people in the industry that you're working with or that you'd like to work with as you go along?
Yeah, that's a tough question. We are open, listeners. If you feel like you wanna, if you have any ideas, suggestions, we're willing to hear. But for Banato, I think our goal is to grow organic. We're just trying to see what we can do.
I love it. So as far as go home message for anybody listening, whether it's someone who's working in a corporate job that is flirting with the idea of creating something or has created something, but they want to bring it to market, whether it's someone who's jumped without a parachute and they've dove in like many of us and they've left the corporate world behind already and they're looking to take that idea and either monetize, scale, grow, impact the world, or even if it's a seasoned business owner who's been doing this for a while, what's a good go-home message to help them get through that process, to keep them moving, keep them going, something that can kind of light a fire under their ass if they need it to kind of keep chasing their dream?
So for me, I've been watching a Netflix documentary series called Unsolved, mm-hmm. and one thing that's really hit home with me, whether it's with Banato or some of my other ventures I've been going on, is there is no story without a struggle. So no matter where you're at in life, with your business, with personal, on the personal side of things, just know that there is no story that you can share and that's worth telling without a struggle.
Yeah, you got to have that discomfort to grow, right? You have to have that pain, that struggle, that adversity, but you can still enjoy the process. But you do have to have a lot of times, like even training, martial arts. We talked about it earlier. When you get punched in the face, you learn who you are. Do you fight harder or do you back up, right? And sometimes you do either or, but you learn how to readjust like you've done in your business. Mm-hmm. And so how about for you? Any go-home message for someone who's looking to create, build, or put themselves into the world like you both have?
Yeah, I think the most important thing to know is that the purpose of life is to have a purposeful life.
Yep.
And if you have an idea and a passion, there's no perfect time to start and there's no perfect way to do it. For me right now, I have a day job still. I work as a consultant. I travel Monday through Friday. Monday, 6 a.m., I'm on a plane going out to the East Coast. And Friday, 8 p.m., I roll in the door. And still, I have maintained this really beautiful place where I can be happy.
Yeah.
And so I think that as long as you feel that you are driving more purpose into the world, do it.
Yeah.
Start small. Start as small as you want it to be, but just do it.
I love it. I love it. Just get started. And so I think that what you talked about as far as traveling, and some people might come home if they weren't excited about what they were doing, if the passion wasn't there, if the drive wasn't there, and they were just hanging up for the weekend. Hey, listen, I just worked from Monday morning at 6 till Friday morning at 8, and now I want a break. But because you have that passion and that hustle and that spirit, and I guess that will to leave the world a little bit of a better place and have fun while you're doing it, that doesn't even you probably don't even feel as tired as someone would feel.
No.
It just carries you through.
And in fact, it gives you more energy.
It does.
I'm a person that really believes in action as well, because anyone can talk about how they had some great idea. Mm-hmm. Oh, if I had done that idea, it would have been so fantastic. But why live with that regret?
Yep.
Why not just put your money where your mouth is and just push forward and accomplish what you want to do? And so for me, I think my dream is just to help the world be a little bit healthier.
Yep.
And I think Banato is able to fulfill that dream.
I think you're both on that path. You're both badasses. You're amazing. You're strong. You're powerful. You're mighty. If people want to find out more of the story, they want to connect with you and follow the mission and what's going on, and even if they want to get some of this beautiful, delicious dessert in their life, how would they contact or find out more about either one of you or the company?
Yeah, so you guys can check out our website. We are www.banato.com. That is spelled Banato. And then you can also follow us on Instagram, which is @go.banato, or Facebook. Or send us an email at info@banato.com. We'd always love to hear from you guys.
Changing the way that dessert is viewed and consumed in the world. Unbelievable time together. Thank you both so much.
Thanks for having us.
It was a pleasure, and I'm excited to continue the conversation, maybe have you both on again. So they are the amazing, strong, and powerful founders of Banato, Jennifer and Mel. Catch us next week on the newest episode of the Jesse T Show. Take care.